So somebody sent me a video recently of quite a high-profile English coach responding to a statement made by Michael Atherton that if anybody thinks that batting is not a side-on game, they're wrong. And I think the video just highlights again how little is actually understood about batting. And references are made to players like Steve Smith. Other ones that come to mind that people always put forward as having uh, batting open, Shiv Chanderpaul. And like on the extreme end of the spectrum, we could look at a guy like Fawad Alam from Pakistan. But how you start is completely irrelevant. The most important factor is where you are at the crucial moment in time. Now, Dom Sibley has just been dropped from the Test squad, and I said over a year ago that this guy will not average more than 30 in Test cricket because his setup and the way that he plays are fundamentally flawed. He's got flaws in his fundamentals. Now, the crazy thing is that if you speak to cricket coaches, there are no established fundamentals. Everybody's got a theory and everybody's got an idea, as does this coach have a theory. Now, I agree with him about what he's saying about how you set up. No issues there. But batting is a side-on game. Now, all we have to do is look at Steve Smith. Having viewed those images, we can clearly see that batting is a side-on game, as stated by Michael Atherton. And all we have to do is look around the world today and see all these weird and wonderful techniques and idiosyncrasies that are creeping into the game. And there's no wonder that the standard of test batting at the moment is probably the worst that it's ever been. It is absolutely appalling. And it's appalling because, if you look at a player like Dom Sibley, he's literally batting with one hand tied behind his back. Now, the fact that nobody's been able to get hold of him and have a conversation with him and show him why what he's doing is fundamentally flawed and help him make the changes so that he can be successful at the highest level of the game. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that he could be an incredible opening batsman if he addressed these fundamental flaws. Because achieving what he's achieved to date, batting with one hand tied behind his back, the reason he's done this is because of his discipline, in that he's disciplined enough to play within that limitation. But the problem when you get to that level is people are going to work you out. And he's been worked out, and that's why strike rate's that's why striking at 34, which one of the other criticisms leveled at him has been that he's putting the team under pressure by scoring so slowly. So if he were to make the fundamental changes in his game that opened up 360-degree scoring, that at the same amount of time, with these added scoring options, score more runs. So instead of being 34 off 100 balls, and 50 off 150 to 200 balls like he's been in some occasions, he'd be getting big scores. He'd bat the same amount of time and he'd score more runs. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's two sides of your game that you need to develop if you want to be successful. So he's got the one. He's got patience, he's got discipline, he's playing according to a plan, but it's a very limited plan based on the limitations of his fundamentals. But he's got that discipline. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you get a player like Mark Ramprakash. Beautiful, effortless, free-flowing strokes. 100 first-class hundreds. But couldn't make the adjustment mentally, couldn't handle the situation of playing for his country. Now, if we put a side-by-side video of Mark Ramprakash next to Dom Sibley, you'd be hard-placed to find somebody that said that Sibley's a better player. But statistically, he is. He averages more than him in Test cricket. So that just shows you and this is the most neglected part of any player's game. It's the ability to manage thoughts, emotions, and distractions. so that you can remain present and see and react to the ball in all situations. Now, the problem that Ramprakash had was that he couldn't do it in all situations. He could do it unbelievably well at first class level, but he was unable to transfer that playing ability and those skills to the highest level of the game. And fundamentally, there was nothing wrong with that would have him exposed because of his fundamentals or his technique. So for him, it was all up here. Sibley's got this. So if he made these adjustments, sorted out his fundamentals, found somebody who was actually prepared to be honest with him, ask him some difficult questions, and what it basically boils down is to, do you want to have an international career? Because this, I challenge you to show me one player in the history of the game who's had a successful career from the positions that we looked at, and positions like this. There's never been one. So why do you want to try and be the first? Why not look at what every player, they've all got different styles, okay? And this is the skill of coaching, helping players without losing their style, adhere to the proven fundamentals of successful batting. And when I say proven fundamentals, there are key fundamentals that every player who's averaged over 50 in the history of the game adheres to. So Sibley's got it together up here. If he made these fundamental adjustments, he would be a world-class performer. And here's the thing that happens when you've got fantastic fundamentals and you've got clarity on what they are, how to train them, and how to measure them. Fantastic fundamentals hold true in all types of playing conditions. That's why the best players in the world score all around the world. They hold true on all surfaces and against all types of bowlers. And when you've got fantastic fundamentals, you can draw an immense amount of confidence knowing that you're equipped with the skills to handle anything that comes your way. Now, the other thing that you need to have balance. And as we're seeing in those two players that I referenced, Sibley's got the one aspect, the mental discipline, but he's got fundamental flaws. Ramprakash had all the playing skills, but he was unable to make the adjustment to the different situation of playing for his country. He was unable to manage his thoughts, emotions, and distractions effectively. And that's something that I call batting prowess. And you need to have both. And when you've got both, and I know now I've referenced that, the standard of batting in Test cricket is probably the worst that it's been. And I'll do another video on this, and we'll look at some statistics, and we'll look at some top order batsmen. But there are a hell of a lot of players playing Test cricket are averaging in the 30s these days. And I know the first excuse that's put forward is, oh, it's because of the white ball focus. Well, fundamentals hold true in all formats. The best players in the world are successful in all formats. They transition seamlessly between the formats. So, if there's some players who can do it, it means everybody can do it. Because these are skills that can be learnt and can be developed. And that's why these are the two key areas that we put all of our focus on. Before we even start looking at enhancing attacking and defensive skills, we start to look at helping players develop new habits in how they think and help them develop the skills so that they can be adaptable to different situations, manage their thoughts, emotions, and distractions effectively, formulate a plan, and then trust their unconscious mind to execute it by allowing themselves to see and react to the ball. We then give them a process to train what I've identified are the proven fundamentals of successful batting. And they're proven because they're adhered to by every player who's averaged over 50 in the history of the game. How do I know these skills can be developed? Well, I've helped players in Australia, New Zealand, and Pakistan, working remotely, develop these skills. And the outcomes so far have been an average improvement of 55.03% above their career batting averages across all three formats. So these skills can be learnt and they can be developed. They can be done a lot quicker than most people think is possible. Those outcomes with those players were achieved in under 16 interactions working remotely online. With the standard of batting being what it is currently in international cricket for Test cricket, there is a huge opportunity for players to step up, take ownership of their careers, and get the help that they need so that they can be successful at the highest level of the game. We just need to look at Australia's contracted players for the upcoming season. They've contracted 3 specialist red ball cricketers. There's huge opportunity. All the talk around England's failing batting, which has been happening for years now. And it's pretty clear that the current systems and structures are not helping these players succeed at the highest level in Test cricket. So if you want to succeed, it's highly unlikely that you're going to get the help that you need in the current structures. You need to look outside those structures. So if you're serious about stepping up, getting the help that you need, and creating and forging a successful career for yourself, then get in touch and we can jump on a batting diagnosis. We can see if it's going to be a good fit to work together, and we can get you the help that you need. So if that's you and you're a hard-working batsman who's dedicated to doing whatever it takes to develop both areas of your game, to understand and train your fundamentals, develop the same fundamentals that have helped every player who's averaged over 50 in the history of the game succeed, and develop the skills to manage your thoughts, emotions, and distractions so that you can transition seamlessly between the formats and be successful in all types of match situations, then shoot me a DM